to have committed serious breaches of Ghana's mining laws. Infractions that include unauthorized subcontracting to foreign nationals, mining outside approved operational areas, operating without permits from the Chief Inspector of Mines, as well as failure to obtain requisite environmental and forestry approvals. Yet, rather than face the enforcement actions that would typically follow such violations, Adamus Resources has been granted a government-backed lifeline, a development that has drawn sharp comparisons to the previous administration's indulgence of Akunta Mines, owned by Bernard Intri Bosiako, the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the then-ruling NPP. A regulatory process undermined the sequence of events is instructive. Now, on 26 April 2026, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, revoked 3 of Adamus mining leases covering concessions in the Western region. The decision followed inspections by the Minerals Commission that uncovered significant statutory violations. Adamus Resources immediately rejected the findings but opted not to proceed directly to court. Instead, the company submitted a formal petition asking the government to temper justice with mercy. In response, the minister established an independent review committee to examine the merits of the case. That committee, upon extensive examination, not only affirmed the original infractions, but uncovered additional irregularities. Among them, approximately some $224 million to related parties abroad between 2020 and 2024. And the story goes on and on, but I think you get the gist of what this story has to say, that what is good for the goose doesn't seem to be good for the gander in this instance. And they're drawing parallels between what happened with Chairman Wontumi and now looking at what is going on with Adamus Resources, and also we're asking whether or not this opens the floodgates for others who are found to be in breach of certain regularities to just ask for mercy. Is that all that is required?
Yeah, I mean, that's why some say that this goes to the heart of the commitment towards the fight against illegal mining, right? Because if, and I think I've been explaining that in Ghana, the line between what is legal mining and illegal mining is very thin, very, very thin. Read the story again and the infractions. You can have a permit and whatever. When you have the permit, you have to go for additional. There have to be boxes ticked for you by other regulatory agencies. When you don't do that, that becomes illegal mining. Because the moment you don't have an EPA environmental certificate or permit, water resource to ensure that what you're doing is right,
forestry and all this,
you can be given a concession, and that is illegal mining. Because the mining is not the fact that you've been given a concession and so you can take the gold out of the land however you deem fit. You must do it according to a certain standard laid down procedure. That's why even there is RCOMs, because they are seeking to teach young people how to mine sustainably. You understand? So it begs the question, what possible justification has gone into this extension? And it's a 12-month window for them to correct whatever it is that is wrong. Is it a question as to indigenous mining company? I mean,
but Wontumi also, his was indigenous and indigenous mine.
No,
I get you. That's what I'm saying.
There has to be a bit more. It cannot be a government statement that says that, there's a 12-month window for Adamus and the relevant state agencies to rectify and outline whatever challenges. If Helen, with your kind, if you can read the infractions, they are not things that another person should do and be clamped down on, and then another person does, and we say, let's find an appropriate way for you to address all of these regulatory concerns.
The infractions include unauthorized subcontracting to foreign nationals, mining outside approved operational areas, mining without permits from the Chief Inspector of Mines, and failure to obtain requisite environmental and forestry approvals. And then there were more that were uncovered after an independent committee was set up, and those include approximately some 224 million US dollars sent to related parties abroad between 2020 and the 2024. Between 2020 and 2024, the company was also found to have partially fulfilled its environmental bond obligation and have concealed information from investigators.
Yeah, I mean,
this matter is a very controversial one.
No, I want us to even just
focus
stay
on this one,
this aspect.
Yeah, it's been a controversial one. So the point is that controversy from the beginning would continue. Controversy from the beginning would continue because there are certain documentations that she would not have access to, but then those who are contesting would. So you can't go securing a pass from an institution without original documentation. So it's convoluted. It's quite convoluted.
You see, the reason why I continue to say that the past conversation which Patrice is privy to doesn't even come in here is that let's just look on the face of whatever it is that's playing out. Subcontracting without permits. I'm sorry, but to me is in jail because of that.
Yes.
You understand? And nobody is saying, but it must be manifestly seen to be done that we're actively seeking to deal with persons who engage in activities against the laws of the country, particularly when it comes to mining. On one of the portals,
we need to call Ken
we
Ashigbe.
see NIMOS arrest 3, destroy 86 shamfans in Ablebo.
We need to call Ken Ashigbe because
we are doing something in relation to
one of the newspapers says that Ken Ashigbe is excited about the fact that the president has called for a truce in this matter. So he's the one who's been leading all these things. Let us call him and pin him down to the matters.
Oh no, to say he's leading, I'm not sure.
No. When I say leading means, he's one of the leaders when it comes to what's the name, Galamsey issues. He's one of such people, and that is illegal mining. And I'm saying that if he's excited about the fact that the president has called for a truce in this particular matter, then he needs to speak to it concerning all these infractions that have been indicated and put in the newspaper. Because what it says is that we may be reading it out of what the newspaper has published. There could be some background information that we may not be privy to. So if he is privy to that and that he's overly excited, and also there's another gentleman, also pictured on the front page of one of the newspapers. I think that you have it. One of the CS. Yeah, that's him. I've forgotten his name. Is it Mantiao?
Yeah, Dr. Mantiao.
Dr. Steve Mantiao, yes. CSO, the chair Mahama for saving Adamus. So we need to find out what it is they know that we don't, such that they are.
That's fair.
They are exactly
that's
the
fair.
exaltation of what the president has done is so dear to their heart, such that they are just thanking him and applauding him left, right, center. So either Dr. Steve Mantiao or Ken Ashigbe, the two of them will be able to speak directly to this matter, because you and I know that the final authority to give credence to anybody who wants to mine comes from the Minister of Mines. So if the minister says no and the president has intervened, then this must be a very special case. And now you can see the National Enquirer says how Abu Jinapo became the conveyor belt for Angela Lay's takeover of Adamus. You see, so in both parties, she is playing a good ball. You get it? So it's mind-boggling. These two people can set the record straight. What we are reading from the newspaper indicates that it is not right for this to be allowed.
Absolutely.
But for them to be applauding it because what is an indigenous company, how indigenous is a takeover? That has been ruled on, it's been ruled on by, what's the name? A high court in Ghana and then a court in Australia.
Right.
So let us deal with those matters. I think these two people will be fine. Kenashibe will be good.
Fair enough. I'm going to get us into the suit conversations because we know that the minority leader yesterday announced that he was taking Sami Jimfi and one other person to court. Frederick, you have that for me, that insert. I want us to listen to him and then we can, because it's an important aspect of the conversation. It's one we've been having since yesterday, even though it's not entirely tasty. For Helen, it's
really?
It's tasty. I'll sink my teeth into it.
Yeah, let's find out how the cover-ups come up.
Yes, a minority leader, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, on the floor of the House yesterday.
In the face of the allegations of extortion leveled against me, I have chosen to take high moral ground by submitting myself to the processes of the law. I have accordingly caused writs to be filed in suit number GT 1029/2026, entitled Osahin Alexander Afenyo-Markin versus Samuel Edu Jemfi and Multimedia Group Limited at the Accra High Court, and suit number GR/AC/C5/02/2026, entitled Osahin Alexander Afenyo-Markin versus Eric Ejay and Peace FM at the Achimota Circuit Court. I have every confidence that in the fullness of time, the court will make the appropriate determination on these matters. Mr. Speaker, I also await with bated breath that the man or the men who made the allegation will have the courage to report the matter to the police or the OSP or any investigating agency in this country. And I expect that if they muster the courage to report that I have extorted from them and I am invited, I shall submit myself to every investigation so that eventually my name is cleared. Mr. Speaker, there is a limit to political discourse. There are lines that must not be crossed, and these red lines, once crossed, they must be dealt with.
With the motion they have filed, which was received in my office on the 21st of August, 2026, just 3 days ago. 3 days ago that it got to my office. I have gone through the motion myself, and I intend to admit the motion because we have to at least have an end to litigation. As to whether it's a loss or it's a cost, this House will have the opportunity to go through it. And please, Ghanaians are very intelligent people. They will listen, they will read in between the lines, and they will make their...
The motion by the minority pretty much saying that, look, litigation must come to an end. We urge that we ask that this be looked into properly so that it can tackle head on all of the different strands, right? The different strands in terms of the conversation which we've been having. But just by quick way of notice, we're back on Facebook and as well on YouTube as well this morning for you. We're streaming, so you can catch this show on YouTube and on Facebook. But send us your thoughts and messages as well. 053 220-0927 053-220-0927 is our WhatsApp number. I see a number of you already seeking to send in messages. Some have sent messages on Facebook as well already in relation to this Afenyo-Markin matter, and so it would have been criminal if we didn't touch on it. But Patrice, I'm going to come to you on the suit, right? Because a lot of people had asked, I mean, his tone didn't suggest he was going to take any course of action in relation to it. Now he has. He's taking the matter to court, and it will suggest that he takes this seriously, and he's seeking to have his reputation, which he believes has been damaged, take solace in the law to an extent.
Well, somebody mentioned to me in a very funny way that, well, he wanted 10 million. He didn't get. Now he's suing for 15 million.
Oh, come on.
No, it was just...
Come on. Come on.
Anyway, on a more serious note, well, I believe it is his right to do so. Nobody will take it away from him. I'm just surprised that after being Jesus Christ on Sunday, Monday, he decided to be, what's the name of the Zacchaeus. So now he's come down to earth. No, he said he was going to, Jesus Christ was accused, he never did anything, but now he's chosen to go to court. Fair enough. That is where proof of evidence is going to show. But I am believing that the erudite Speaker of Parliament would implore him not to further proceed. When you speak on the streets, what it means is that Afenyo would want to clear his name by showing bravado and coming out to say, I am taking the matter to court. But as to whether this matter will see the light of day, we wait and see. I am believing so strongly that certain hands would come in and say, let us settle this matter out of court, just so it doesn't blow up in the face of people who believe one way or the other that the matter is true or not. I do not think and I do not believe that a gentleman cast in the mode of Sammy Gyamfi would go on radio, would go on global broadcasts and claim that the minority leader extended.
Believe.
I do not believe at all that such a thing can happen at that level that Sammy Gyamfi spoke. Sammy Gyamfi is not only the CEO of Gold Board, he represents the integrity of an institution which forms the majority in parliament today. You get it? So if he's speaking on three legs. Three legs being him being the Gold Board CEO, number two, speaking on behalf of the majority in parliament, and number three, an assign of the president. So the president is the one who put him there. So if he speaks with the integrity of the president who put him there. So I don't think he will just go on air and boldly say such things. So I doubt it. I'm not saying it is not true or true. I'm only saying I doubt it so strongly, knowing the kind of personality he is and the way he carries himself about matters. It is not to say he's infallible. He's human. So definitely these things could happen. But like I said, it is up to Afenyo Marking to prove to us that whatever allegations is being leveled against him are not allegations or are just mere allegations and not allegations that have a foundation in truth and fact. Because the moment certain things start popping out, text messages or voice calls or any written documentation that indicates clearly that there was some sort of interaction between the two of them, then fine. We would find out also from the Bank of Ghana that on the said day, did Afenyo Marking show up at the Bank of Ghana? Who did he meet at the Bank of Ghana? The discussions thereof would not be in the position to know, but then it could add some kind of spice to the meat that, okay, it is true that he left point A and went to point B. So for me, it's a beautiful thing that is happening to us. As always, we would wish that we can test the law on this, but trust you me, this is not going to go beyond your microphone. The matter is not going to go beyond your microphone. It will never see anything that we are going to court. Hey, judge says adjourn it and all that. No, they'll just cut it. They'll just cut it.
Helen, I mean, you didn't seem to believe that in terms of an investigation on the extortion claim will go anywhere in Parliament, right? Because MPs tend to shield their own, and you're very justified in that position, because you've seen privileges committees sitting on MPs absenting themselves, some of the comments. In fact, even when in the eve of the 8th Parliament, we had military men march into the floor of the House, amongst many other things. There was no investigation whatsoever.
That's right.
And all of that. But in the law court, that's a completely different conversation. Patrice seems to suggest it might play out same in the court in terms of where all of this goes in terms of a defamation suit. He's not alone, because last night I was listening to Martin Pibo and he seemed to have suggested same and said, look, this is not going to go anywhere. At some point in time, both political parties will reach out to each their members and say, let this slide. Yeah. But at the heart of a bit more in terms of integrity and the characters of these individuals at play, should we see this go the full haul?
I I think maybe I join in the sentiments of Patrice Amegashi and lawyer Martin Pebu as well. I think the proof will be in the pudding, really, because I suspect so that behind the scenes there are already maybe some talks going on, asking that both parties to this fracas maybe step down or let it go. And ultimately, the good people of Ghana get caught in the crossfire. It's almost as though we're just pawns in a game of chess between the NDC and the NPP. We are but onlookers. What do we really say to this? And for me, it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. Some of these statements just said for political expediency. What really is the truth behind it? At some point, it will become just one too many that will have a real serious issue on our hand, and we'll just decide to let it go because of what we've seen previously. Is this going to be the issue that finally lets us see a turnaround as far as investigations into such hot allegations are concerned? I don't believe so. I think this is going to be another thing that dies a very quick death.
But that is where the problem is it not? I mean, the fact that across the aisle, everybody is seeking to suggest that, this doesn't go anywhere.
Sad. It's unfortunate. Fellow Ghanaians.
They will just say one or two words in relation to this.
It's unfortunate.
It dies a natural death.
In other jurisdictions, such comments would not be allowed to fly. See, in France, they demonstrate against anything.
Macron was slapped again over the weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
They're the guys that will go and farmers had a gripe with
they pile manure.
Manure, cow dung. Just go and I mean, they don't joke. They don't joke. Don't joke with the citizenry. But we accept too many things as a people sometimes. I don't know if we are awake. Again, I say this, that the persons in these positions, they're there to serve you, not the other way around. They can't say certain things and go scot-free. Fellow Ghanaians, wake up. Wake up to your responsibility. Wake up. You are sleeping. So you need to wake up. You need to tune into Sunrise. So we reaffirm this for you every morning. Let it sink into the medulla oblongata that this is your responsibility. You need to start. You need to start asking them when you see officials out and about. So when you finish throwing the microphones and tables around, what happened to you? Nothing. Okay, no problem. Good morning. As a boy, yes sir, honorable. Please. That's my message.
It is. You see, it's very painful when certain things of this nature are happening and then we look on unconcerned. I saw this coming way back when the country was seemingly divided into two political parties. So they made everything, it was a strategy. They made everything seem political. So when any matter was taken against one personality, the party would go behind the other person and say revolt. Because it is NDC, because it is MPP. I saw it so clearly. And they have got us just where exactly they want us to be. So that when such matters come up, instead of looking at it holistically, discussing it dispassionately, technical matters, look at it on the basis of the strengths of what it carries. We don't do that. We look at it as, because this person is NDC, because it's NPP. So Helen just said it right. Point is, this is no easy matter. And it is not targeted at just any regular person, regular in quotes. This is the minority leader, for crying out loud. He has been given the appellation or the name Osahin. Is it the best dancer?
No, it's not best dancer. It's an appellation. I think he's been... it's in relation
the chief
to
of dancers.
Title, no.
Oh, this is the direct translation.
Not dance. Okay.
I don't know what that means.
Direct translation.
Oh, okay. So I thought Osahin was somebody who dances like the chief of dancers. Oh, sorry.
There's a lot of mischief in that statement. I can't help but notice it so loudly. When you say Osahin, chief of dancers, Patrick is really...
No, but he's been doing the dance, the Asafo dance. Boom, 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 boom.
Oh, Patrice.
Patrice, boom, 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 boom.
I mean, the mischief is so loud in Osahin, chief of dancers. Come on.
I just need somebody to help me out.
Please, so we disassociate ourselves
Greatly.
strongly, firmly, and so far away from this one.
I beg you.
Achimota Court is hot. Second court.
I beg you.
You heard yesterday. I beg you.
No,
I distance
I'm
and
saying that
disassociate myself.
I can understand maybe you're seeking interview, but
exactly.
I'm just saying that.
Mawena, distance yourself quickly.
Chief of dancers, yeah, I beg you, don't do that. Don't, I beg you.
Then I got it wrong then.
Yeah,
Please.
you did.
Because
I also disassociate you yourself. I disassociate Patrice Amegasi from his own comments.
No, When I heard the title the first time, I was like, oh, okay, because I witnessed him dancing and doing all the thing with and doing the jama and all those things. So I thought it was based on that that they gave him the Osayin.
No. I mean, he's just dancing. I'll seek to
please
get the.
If anybody can give out the number, so if anybody can explain
053 220 0927 053 220-0927.
Yeah.
And you can share, right?
Yeah,
let us know. But it's not chief of dancers.
Chief of dancers. So for me, I think this would. And look, I must also admit that the person before whom this matter was announced, that is the Honorable Speaker of Parliament, Aban Bagbe. For me, I think over the years, he's been one of the finest, if not the best speakers that we've ever had in Parliament. He's so tough, and he believes in what he stands for. That is one thing I like about Bagbe. So I believe that the members of Parliament also cede some sort of authority to him, and they respect him. So when he calls on the minority leader to tell him, step down on this particular matter, I think he may, largely. The point is that Sami Jemfi is not a member of Parliament, so he's not a parliamentarian. That will say two parliamentarians are having a shot at each other. No, that is not it. But I am looking at two things. If we really want to get to the bottom of this matter, which we would never get to, it should go to the court. But if we want the country, if we want, oh no, it will be taken out of me.
But you said you should go to the court.
Yes.
The things at the court, you say it will not go.
No, I mean, it should go to the full hall. I'm looking at the full hall. It will not. So, painfully, it will end on radio stations, TV stations, and in the print media. This discussion will end there. It will be resolved there. It will be a hanging matter that will be referenced to people in future. So for the minority leader to be able to keep his head high when it comes to matters of integrity, he must get this matter resolved at the court as he has so proceeded. Otherwise, in any discussion, fingers will be pointed at him that, aren't you the one who went to extort money from the gold board CEO? You wanted 10 million, as it wasn't given to you, you sued for 15 million, you want extra. No. He doesn't want that being assigned to his name. So, respectfully, if he wants everybody to understand that integrity plays a better role, no, he must go on.
Right.
So for me, that is it. I have another story on the Lotto, the Alaji Lotto, so I'll deal with that. The Alaji Lotto,
there are a few who are sharing thoughts with us in relation to that. It's not chief of dancers, right?
Oh, okay.
It's someone who makes way for others to follow. This one didn't give me a name.
Okay, that's good.
I just wanted to see who exactly it is shared the message with us, so I can.
Someone who makes way for others to follow.
Osahin. Okay. Another also says Osa means war in a can. So the name means warlord. This is Adobia.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean
warlord. Osa.
So two separate meanings. I see K is writing extensively, so he will provide a bit more.
Oh yeah, he's one of the.
Osa
he's a
war
prince.
Hin chief. So he's warrior chief. A Fanti or Guan Fanti. Or Guan Fanti or brother, a can title for the title holder who usually commands all Asafodom warriors.
So I got it, you see, the Asafo thing that he went to do and he was dancing. So I thought.
And so he was war.
Yeah.
It was
war dancing.
Yeah, he was
Oh,
war dancing.
close enough. Okay, I come closer.
You did disassociate.
I did disassociate myself. It's safe. It's safe to come closer. I'm back.
Okay, so that's it. So okay. Oh, thanks so much for the correction and the education on this. So Osahin means a warlord.
Yeah.
Or the first one was what? Somebody who paves the way. So
yes,
okay, okay.
The other was suggesting someone who paves the way. I didn't quite get the name.
Forerunner, sort of somebody, a pathfinder, somebody who,
right? Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, okay. It's a fighter.
That's what it was.
That's
what it was suggesting.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get the name, but let me check on Facebook as well what a fair few of the individuals are saying. Then I'll share my thought. What I think, right?
Yes.
What I think about this suit is that it must not end by the side of the road, because. And for a lot of individuals, they continue to share the sentiment. Oh, we ain't baby or Sabere. So a bit more persons are sharing. So Gideon Damali says it means a warrior. Felix Entry Saba says Sabere is a warlord or someone who leads in a war.
Oh, great.
He says. Gideon Damali laughs very hysterically. He says Patrice Pa and says that's all kin. Osahin simply means chief of fighters. It means warrior as well. Kafui Jr. also says this. Katie said the name is Apenyo. Okay, so a few more. Right? A few more in terms of, but a lot more in terms of reactions.
So warrior, that kind of thing. Okay.
So he's a warrior kin and all of that. I mean, I will lean in from the point you make as to reputation, because as much as this can be proven or this will be dealt with in court, the general sentiment from a cross-section of individuals is that, I don't think I see this going anywhere. I don't think I see this going anywhere, and all of that. It's not good.
Yeah.
It's not good for the democracy and perception of the general populace as to what happens with the political class. For parliamentarians. Well, this morning, the consensus of MPs, they will not do anything about it. They'll just let it go. Then that sentiment, which is fast becoming a reality, could pave way for something else, right? When people begin to feel that, look, the political class is being treated differently, and wrong is not wrong when you identify as a political being, and that becomes problematic. So that is why I will want, if it's Parliament who is going to, because the Speaker was petitioned, let them look into it and arrive at some feasible and reasonable conclusion. It's gone to court in terms of a defamation suit. Let it travel the full haul, even though the belief is that it will not. Why is the belief that it will not? It's problematic for me. Why people will believe that, where they will find a way to brush it all aside. Then that becomes problematic.
Right? The problem has always been there.
And
Helen was calling that Ghanaians are sleeping, they should wake up. Yes, the problem is there. This is where we find ourselves. Litany of issues that we raise concerning matters that happen in Parliament that we just looked on unconcerned. There was no resolution to it. Everything was just swept under the carpet. And that is what it is. Everybody protects their own.
Well, that sentiment is being fed into a bit more. As the message says, good morning, private legal practitioner and law lecturer John Baptist Ayeje. Is an ardent listener of the show as well. Good morning to you, Council. Says that this suit won't go anywhere. We know how they do it. What led to the U-turn? He asks. Because as at yesterday, the party position was that no suit. If for nothing, I know as a lawyer, some clients take a suit just for other reasons. He mentioned.
So he can make reference that I even sued in court and it was. Oh, wow. 2.7. Anyways. Because it came as a shock to me.
But there's another part that the suit could be defective because of the name. Sami Edu Jemfi, Samuel Edu Jemfi. As to whether or not that is the name of Sami Jemfi is another thing which has come up. And I'm seeing presidential staffer Beatrice Adu right, and good morning to her as well. She comes by on the show as well. Why will my Leonard Senior Apenyo Markin issue a defective writ against Sami Jemfi? That is if he intended to sue Sammy. I don't want to believe it is what I'm thinking. She adds. It's a comment that was shared.
So the petition will be thrown out in the face of.
You understand? It's a question because the suit has Samuel Edu Jemfi, but there are others who are asking questions as to whether
Maybe
that is the name or it will be corrected or whether the suit is defective to start off with. Is one of the suggestions. But let me do a bit more in terms of messages, right?
Yeah.
Because a fair few individuals have shared messages with us on Facebook. I want to read some of them. Kojo Fiagbe says, Mawena, you can personally judge from the body language of the Honorable Apenyo Markin that he has no confidence in his lawsuit. It seems he was forced into the law action or will be kicked out as a minority leader. Well, we cannot say that. Sangdok K. Kaiser says, from 10 million to 15 million. Ajay, he adds a laughing emoji. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Ni Odata Mills as the only way we can find out the truth about the Apenyo Markin is through the law court. Period. Let Love Lead says he doesn't believe Apenyo. I don't know what he doesn't believe, but he adds that there were videos of him manhandling a police officer in broad daylight, and yet he still denied it. And so he doesn't believe him. I don't know. I don't know the correlation. I don't know the correlation. Yeah, it's in relation to a story in the past. Let me do our WhatsApp console, right? So politicians will continue to fool us. Look at Adwa Safo's issue. Someone pretended to be Adwa Safo until now we couldn't find the person. I don't trust the speaker. George says this, and this is George. George was the one who was suggesting that the Apenyo name could be someone who charts the path for others to follow. Jones Adoboy Inla says, good morning, Mawena. This is face-saving statement by the minority leader. It's just a dance to the gallery and to shake his already loose feathers. He adds. Kwame Fire in Sampa Valley says, Patrice, I'll be your counsel in court when you are sued. Don't mind Helen. I will tell the court you are not.
Oh, thank you so much.
Osahi,
thank you so very much.
Don't
I'm really
leave Patrice astray.
I'm really grateful.
Kwame Fire in Sampa Valley.
People can be very funny. Somebody said that.
You saw that message as well, yeah. A few very mischievous individuals in relation to that. But keep your thoughts coming. 053 220-0927 are the WhatsApp numbers.
The number again, please.
053 220-0927. 053 220-0927.
So the Edu is part of Sami's name. So it's Sami Edu Jemfi.
They do.
Yes.
Okay, so when they say defective, I want to know what, for instance, Beatrice says is defective in relation
maybe
to...
the Osahin. The Osahin.
I don't want to conjecture.
No, what I'm saying is that it is possible that the court may not accept it because is it gazetted? Osahin should belong to somebody like it's a chieftaincy title. And if he is not and it's not gazetted, that's why I'm looking at the defectiveness of what it is. That because if you go in as Sir Patrice Amegashi, you may be calling me Sir, referring to me as Sir, because it's a friendship title. If I go and take a case matter to court and I say Patrice Amegashi, the court may throw it out because I am not knighted. So it is possible that is where the matter is headed when it comes to the issue of it being not too correct for the purposes of a better description of what is going on, so that it can be defective on the face of it. What do you people call it? Prima facie case. Yeah, so on the face of it, it will be thrown out.
There's a bit more. It says just names doesn't make a writ defective.
Okay.
So even sometimes there's AKA on the writ, and it's not. That's why I said I will advise. I don't know what when Beatrice puts up her post on Facebook, what the basis is to say that it's defective. I don't
okay,
know.
Maybe so let's not conjecture for her.
Yes, so we'll find out the details as to why there's a suggestion that the red could be defective. But for now, without that knowledge, I think the consensus is that it's alive and loud. There's a bit more. Yesterday, the Minister for Interior addressed the news conference. Says they are going to deal with the street beggars.
Excuse you?
persons who are begging on the street?
Who?
The Interior Minister. Because in the past we saw the Ghana Immigration Service did an operation where they picked them off the street.
That's right.
But they were back again on it and all of that. Fred, do we have that portion? Well, we don't seem to. I would have wanted us to. I want us to listen to that, and then, but we don't have that. But just quick thought. I mean, how do we deal effectively and decisively once and for all with this problem? Because it's. I mean, there have been documentaries on some of them. I mean, one young lady who with a golden heart who was, after begging, she was helping another person with what she'd received, and that made the round. She received some support, but at the heart of it, there's really a problem if our streets are inundated. From the airport area, you begin to see
That's
them.
right.
You know, per our bylaws, begging on the street is illegal.
Yeah. It's always been.
Begging on the street is illegal. Even hawking is illegal. So I do not understand it when the Interior Minister, with all greatest respect to him, says or announces that this is the path he intends to take. Don't come and tell me the path you intend to take.
Let's listen to the minister first.
Right.
Let's listen to the minister.
We also have a duty to protect our borders, maintain public order, and safeguard our national security and economic interests. By the end of 2025, the Ghana Immigration Service has removed 2,281 migrant beggars on our streets and 774 other illegal immigrants involved in transnational organized crime that had been removed from Ghana. By July this year, the Ghana Immigration Service has also removed 960 migrant beggars from the streets of Kumasi and Accra and 186 other illegal immigrants from our country. We are pursuing this removal fully conscious of Ghana's obligation under the ECOWAS Protocol on free movement of persons, as well as the diplomatic relations and long-standing ties we and other countries have. But we also have a duty to protect our borders, maintain public order, and safeguard our national security and economic interests. By the end of 2025, the Ghana Immigration Service has removed 2,281 migrant beggars on our streets and 774 other illegal immigrants involved in transnational organized crime that had been removed from Ghana. By July this year, the Ghana Immigration Service has also removed 960 migrant beggars from the streets of Kumasi and Accra and 186 other illegal immigrants from our country. We are pursuing this removal fully conscious of Ghana's obligation under the ECOWAS Protocol on free movement of persons, as well as the diplomatic relations and long-standing ties we and other countries have.
Just quick thoughts in relation to it, because we have to go for sport.
Yeah, so for me, I think the minister is doing statistical reading. And for me, statistical reading does not mean a lot to me. Because the routes that apply to my house, I see a lot of them. A lot of these guys, the illegal immigrants are now the ones who are selling the fan milk or fan ice. Check it. You may be oblivious of it, but these are the people who are selling fan milk and fine ice. Yes. These are the people who are pushing carts around, picking metal scraps, among other things, plastics. They are the same people. They come from the Togo border. Every day they sit in cars, in buses, and they come through.
No, I want us to define it, because this is in relation to beggars.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And so we can have a conversation about
beggars and people involved in
foreigners,
crime-related issues.
Foreigners, but if someone comes and they are working, we can have conversations
illegal
as to
working.
Documentation.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Documentation. But I wanted the conversation.
And they are creating a community
on the beggars and all of that.
It needs to start from a certain leg, because when the person comes in, you may think that they are into work, but then you find out they are begging. Go to Atomic Roundabout. There are a lot of them stationed there. You get it. Go to Circle. A lot of them are sitting under the bridge. over there. Exactly. So if we say we are taking them out, yeah.
Run about around Kanishi.
So for me, physically, I would like to see it. I would like to experience the fact that I'm driving and nobody accosts me. Just 2 nights ago at the Tema motorway roundabout, they came there.
I'm going to share this message, right?
You get it?
Then Helen, I'll have you come in. Evans from Kanishi says, last week Wednesday, I nearly drove over a lady at Sakaman, where a madman slapped a lady from the pavement onto the road, and I nearly drove over her. So they should deal with the mentally challenged persons in the city as well. Evans from Kanishi sends that one in. It does suggest that there is a bit of concern.
Yeah.
On one part, on beggars and all of that.
Beggars,
and then mentally
illegal,
challenged persons.
Mad people and all that. Under the bridges, all these bridges that we have, under the bridges, you see that these mad people set up tents, and that is where they stay, and they burn items. And cement doesn't like burning materials close to it. It affects the integrity of the cement. So all these things, we see them. And that is why I say that where is the task force of all these municipal assemblies? You see them, go under the Tema Bridge. They are there right now as we speak. They have tents over there. That's where they lodge. That's where they burn things. And everybody looks on unconcerned. So I am saying that, Mr. Minister, with all due respect, do not let people deceive you with statistics, because they gave it to you to read. Drive and find out for yourself whether or not this statistics that they've given you is something to, as we say, write home about.
Right, Helen, quick thoughts in relation to that.
A good foundation to the conversations that we'll be having as the show progresses. So do stick with us. We'll talk about this as well as 13 suspects who have been linked to 2020 and 2024 election violence, Boku motorbike restrictions, police traffic checks going digital from September, and also the issue of narcotics. We'll talk about June 29th flood death toll, and what the government's position is on self-defense groups. You see a group of macho men calling themselves security personnel and what have you. So we have a lot to tease out from what the minister said. So come back after sports.
Absolutely. And Helen and Patrice, thank you very much for helping us through sports. I'm just going to read a few more in terms of messages. This one says from Kwame Fire in Sampa Valley, says, for these beggars on the street, I think they've been coached by whoever brought them here and are now selling and begging together. So will they be seen as beggars or sellers? He asks. It's another message, right? It's another message from Victor. Says, my utmost concern is the way the beggars are given birth, putting them on the streets. He says he's currently writing an article on beggars as well. But Victor also has an issue with you as to why you believe Sami Jimfi. You believe what he said. Yes, okay. But you doubt Afenyo Markin response.
You see,
what makes him seem to know that Afenyo Markin is afraid?
No, in my presentation, I didn't doubt. I didn't doubt Afenyo Markin.
It's just a question. Right. Mutala Yakubu is here.
Yes.
He's in studio.
Can I just steal just 1 minute? You mentioned something critical in your introduction today. You said names matter. Names matter. That is one thing I believe we should focus on. Names really, 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 really matter. There's a lot to that. So thank you so much for mentioning that in your introduction. I noted it. And if time permits, we should be able to discuss what it means by names really matter. And this is to say good morning to Jocelyn at JLo's Nova Mat at Laboni. Good morning to everybody there.
Right. And a special good morning as well to a number of you who are doing the listening. Always a pleasure to have you join us. Special mentions this morning to the Minister for Interior, who on the back of everything. You disagree with the numbers, but I mean, that's the Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak. Special good mornings to him as well. And to all of the persons at the Interior Ministry as well who do the listening. I appreciate all of you. Let's get into sports right now. Mutala Yakubu will do that for us, after which we'll return with a truckload of goodies for you here on the 3FM Sunrise. It's exactly 6 at the top of the hour. Sports right now.
Right, my name is Mutala Yakubu. Coming up this morning, Chelsea get their season underway with win against Fulham in the English Premier League. Also, former Nigerian captain Mikel Obi has heaped praise on Ghanaian footballer Andre Rami Morgan Ayew. Also, Asante Kotoko goalkeeper Danlad Ibrahim has spoken for the first time since he returned to the club. Let's now start off with former Super Eagles captain Mikel Obi, who has heaped praise on Ghanaian football star, that is Andre Ayew, describing him as not just a great player, but also a passionate advocate for the development of Ghanaian and African football. Mikel says Ayew's honesty, leadership, and vision could even see him one day make a move into football administration, suggesting that if the former Black Stars captain chooses to run for the presidency of the Ghana Football Association, he would make a strong impact on Ghana football.
Andre is somebody who speaks his mind, is somebody who says it how it is, and that's how I like people to always be honest, be truthful, and say the right things, the things that we need to change, and how we have to have things to be done. And he's a bit like me. We have to change things. When you need to change things, you have to be vocal about it. You have to say it. And I enjoyed it. He's a great guy, a great human being, not just as a player. As a human being, I got to know him a bit more now. Lovely guy, a guy from a good family, a humble family, a guy who wants to see things done properly, see the game run properly, and see the game grow. And I believe, I don't know what his objectives are, but I believe you can tell from today the way he spoke. He's somebody who cares about the game, who cares about Ghanaian football and African football, and wants to see the game develop and do well. And I just have to say a massive thank you to him. And if he decides one day that he wants to run for the president of Ghana football, I think he will do well, because you can tell with the passion and the vision that he has, that he wants to see Ghanaian football move further and continue to grow.
Mikel Obi there speaking passionately about Andre Ayew. Moving on, newly signed Asante Kotoko goalkeeper Danlad Ibrahim has expressed his determination to make a strong return to the club and build on the experience he gained during the time away. The 23-year-old goalkeeper has returned to Asante Kotoko ahead of the 2026-27 season, signing a 2-year deal after leaving the club in June 2024 following an 8-year stint. Speaking in an interview with the club's media, he expressed his delight at returning to the club where he began his professional journey.
Very good feeling, because always when you are at Asante Kotoko, you are at home, so I'm feeling so great. Yes, because I came here as a young boy, and even when I was leaving, I was still young, so I was having that kind of dream that definitely I'm going to be back, and then continue the good works for this club. Maturity, because I went outside the country, and the kind of experiences that I just got over there.
3FM 92.7.
When I was here, I had my challenges and let's say the good moments as well. So a blend of all these two, definitely there's going to be a big or a lot of changes personally and also in terms of playing. So there will be big changes, or let's say slight changes in me. So it shouldn't be a surprise to a lot of people, because we are growing and then we are getting matured in the game, and also in terms of personality. Being a champion is easy, but how to maintain it. So now how to maintain my performance and everything is up to me. It's all about hard work. Since I'm here, I'm ready for every challenge.
Asante Kotoko goalkeeper Danlad Ibrahim, who signed a new deal to return to the Porcupine Warriors. Friday, he will be in action as Asante Kotoko come up against Hartlepool. Let's do a bit of diversion into women's football, where Ghana Women's Premier League champions Ampem Darkoa ladies opened their 2026 CAF Women's Champions League Zone B qualifiers with a dominant display against defending Wafu B champions, that is ASEC Mimosas. Ampem Darkoa victory puts them in pole position ahead of the next game against AS Gad National of Niger on Thursday, that is August 27th, 2026. Now, still on women's football, Ghana Black Princesses coach Charles Sampson confirmed the absentees in an injury update with the goalkeeper Asana Osman, Grace Ando, and Jenna Kayla Sapon among those unavailable. Now, forward Mercy Atiobra has also been ruled out, while Mary and Ponsa, Linda Ousu, and Jessica appear complete the list of players missing the under-20 women's tournament that is coming up shortly. Now, the injury setback comes just weeks before Ghana begin their campaign against Ecuador, and says this is a big blow.
Asana unfortunately got an ACL injury at the time that she was also really on her peak. Those were those unfortunate events that we didn't know. We don't know how to deal with. We accept it as it is. So she's also out for this World Cup. Jenna also was part of us during the South Africa qualifiers. Played both games. Unfortunately, dislocated her shoulder and had to go through injury. So she's also out. Grace also an ACL. We don't know why the ACL keep coming on the goalkeepers. So she also has it and she's out. Linda was the latest one, and it was a little difficult to take in because she has a different role in the team. She's a leader. She has been our captain throughout these qualifiers. So that was a really difficult one, but I know that we'll take it in good faith, and I know that others will step in to be able to replace her. Messi, from our first qualifier that she played with Tunisia, unfortunately she went and got ACL back in Egypt where she played. So we were hoping that she could be fit for the World Cup, so we invited her in camp. But unfortunately, she needs more time to heal.
That is Charles Sampson there, the coach of the Black Princesses of Ghana, providing an update on the injury situation in camp. Ghana will be playing Ecuador in their first game the tournament sometime next week, and we're hoping to get off to a flying start. Now, the Democracy Cup Trophy has begun a tour of key state institutions ahead of Friday's third edition of the competition between Accra, Hartlepool, and, of course, Asante Kotoko. A delegation from Parliament, led by the Clerk to Parliament, Ebenezer Huma, presented the trophy to the Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General William Sejapon in Accra on a Monday. The tour is aimed at promoting national unity and highlighting the role of democratic institutions and sports in bringing Ghanaians together. Now, speaking during the presentation, Clerk to Parliament, Ebenezer Huma said the initiative reflects Parliament's commitment to using football to promote togetherness.
30th anniversary of parliamentary democracy and the Fourth Republic ushered in this concept. And ever since, we've been in this business yearly. As you may recall, with this motion, last year we were here, by your magnanimity, and we presented a card, and, we went through and the Parliament is walking the talk.
Lieutenant General William Sejapon also welcomed the initiative and reaffirmed the Ghana Armed Forces' commitment to protecting Ghana's democratic system.
Parliament bringing this to our doorsteps tells us that they see us as one of the stakeholders who will drive the country's democracy. We know that democracy thrives in an area only where there's law and there's law, that people abide by law and order. So we as a military will continue to reaffirm our resolve and commitment to the Constitutional Republic of Ghana, and to do everything that we can to maintain the territorial integrity of Ghana and to push this process. And let me assure you that we will back this particular episode also. We'll be at the stadium. Probably you will not see us in numbers because we will not be in uniform. We will want to enjoy just like any other person, but we will be there to support this very noble gesture. Our message to you, back to the speaker, is to tell him that we are happy that once more he has recognized us, he has honored the Ghana Forces by presenting this cup to us and making us a part of this very innovative venture.
The Democracy Cup trophy there getting to the Ghana Armed Forces. Now, meanwhile, Asante Kotoko head coach Eric Tinkler has urged supporters of the club to rally behind the Porcupine Warriors ahead of the Democracy Cup clash at the Barbara Sports Stadium on Friday. Tinkler believes strong backing from the fans will be crucial as Kotoko prepares for the highly anticipated fixture. The South African coach is counting on the supporters to create an electric atmosphere at the Barbara Stadium and inspire the team to deliver a positive performance.
We're obviously looking to prepare over the next 2 weeks to ensure that we get to the game on the 28th in the Democracy Cup against Heart of Oaks and put on a good performance, especially at home, especially in front of our own fans. You know, I've been involved in a number of derbies back in South Africa, so looking forward to this because I believe it's a big derby here in Ghana and we expect a big crowd. And obviously I want to please the Asante Kotoko fans, obviously with the win. I thrive on that pressure, to be honest. Like I said, I've been involved in big derbies, Orlando Pirates against Kaizer Chiefs. I was involved in those games for a number of years. And big crowds, big expectations, both from the Chiefs and the Pirates fans. So it's going to be no different. You know, I need to take that experience and that knowledge, pass it on to the players, take the pressure off the players. Can't go into that game with a fear of losing. We want to put on a good performance.
3FM 92.7
for the fans that are in the stadium and obviously the millions that are going to be either listening to it on the radio or on the TV. You know, so we want to put on a good performance. And players must go out there and play with a little bit of freedom and without fear.
Eric Tinkler, the head coach of Asante Kotoko. Let's now cross our borders and go to Spain, where there is good news for Ghana because Ghana, we have a representative in the La Liga. Another young prospect has joined the team in the La Liga, and it's a big one for us. That is Roxanne Yeboah, who was joined Osasuna from Swedish side. That is IFK Godberg. The 24-year-old says he's happy to have joined Osasuna and ready to go.
I think with my qualities and my strengths, like I'm hoping like I can fit in here, you know, because I've heard like a lot about the club, like the way they play. So I think like I can fit in here. My physical, I think I have strength, like so much strength, and then speed also, you know. And I'm very good on the like ball playing also. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see that, you know, yeah, because I can't wait to play in front of the fans, you know. Yeah, so like all that I can say is like I think this season is going to be special, you know, yeah, because we have a lot to give, you know. Yeah, so I think they should like expect like more from the team this season.
That is Roxy there talking about how happy he is to have joined Osasuna. That brings us to the end of the sports update here on 3FM Sunrise. My name is Butalaya Yakubu. There's more on all our socials, R3 Sports GH. The show continues right after this.
But we also have a duty to protect our borders, maintain public order, and safeguard our national security and economic interests. By the end of 2025, the Ghana Immigration Service has removed 2,281 migrant beggars on our streets and 774 other illegal immigrants involved in transnational organized crime that had been removed from Ghana. By July this year, the Ghana Immigration Service has also removed 960 migrant beggars from the streets of Kumasi and Accra and 186 other illegal immigrants from our country. We are pursuing this removal fully conscious of Ghana's obligation under the ECOWAS Protocol on free movement of persons, as well as the diplomatic relations and long-standing ties we and other countries have.
All right, so this morning, a number of you had your own thoughts and perspectives on this one. Marina, please plug our WhatsApp line for those who want to add on to the conversation.
053-220-0927. 053-220-0927.
All right,
that is the
WhatsApp line.
WhatsApp line. 053-220-0927.
Certainly, there was a WhatsApp message that came through this morning that had to do with this conversation. And before we let sports come in, Patrice had talked about what is the connection or possible connection between the street begging and also hawking that we're seeing from what appears to be foreign nationals.
I think one of the guys was saying that the beggars are also selling.
That's right.
So are you sacking the sellers or the beggars? Because now you see the kids, right?
Yeah.
Young ones, they have this earbuds. Like
earbuds.
And then the yellow
the polish,
thing to
the shoe shine.
Shine the shoes. They have that.
Hair
and then they'll come to the vehicle and then they'll be...
That is even child labor. That is child labor. It must not be encouraged.
So Kwame Fire, Sampa Valley says, for these beggars on the street, I think they've been coached by whoever brought them here, and now they do the selling and begging together. So they'll be seen as either beggars or sellers.
He was asking, will they be seen as beggars
or
sellers?
Will they be seen as beggars or sellers? What is the distinction? I mean, either way...
It's a curious way.
No, the point is that hawking is wrong.
That's right.
Begging is also wrong.
So both
double.
Be off the...
Yeah. But the point is that most people do not have the political will to do these things. This thing started happening in 2001 or 2002, as far as I remember. Komnai Japan was at the helm of affairs when they were registering the names of all these beggars on the streets and all that happened around the Abosokai area. It came to naught. Every now and then, politicians rear their heads and they tell us that they're going to reassign all these people. First and foremost, what is the origin of these people who come into the country? You cannot go to La Côte d'Ivoire, you cannot go to Benin and say you're just walking around there without your passé. You get
What is the passé?
That is your ID card.
Sure.
And also, do you have a work permit? If you don't have a work permit, you cannot be allowed to work. All these people are caught within the informal sector, so to speak, because they are selling on the streets. They are selling shoe polish, they are selling hairbrush, they are selling, what's the name of that thing, the tissue box. They are selling so many things, or they are hawking it that people are buying. They take it from source. Who is the person giving it to them from source, such that when they make all these monies, they go back to the person who gave it to them? Is that person paying taxes on the monies that are so received? No. You may think they are quite insignificant, but on the contrary, no. At every traffic light, traffic intersection where these people ply their trade, there is the influx of people who are in cars. So definitely would patronize them. So we are paying monies to them. Now, some people just do not come begging. When they come begging and you do not give them what they are requiring of you, they scratch your car. You get it? And I think it's an eyesore for those of us who drive and meet all these things on the road. You need to train the Ghanaian, and it contributes to littering.
Right.
You buy anything in traffic, where do you deposit it? Where do you drop it? If you are not well cultured to drop it in your car or in the car that you are riding in, they throw it on the streets. I think we need the political will. should there be that initiative to get these people off the streets, you can imagine what people would come at you saying. We voted for you, and now this is what you are coming to do to us. You get it? You know, that kind of thing. But it is wrong. Wrong is wrong.
Right.
And my point is, let's not start it. When you let something start and you want to break it off, it's quite difficult. And all the ramifications that come with it is something that you may not be able to countenance. So
Certainly.
At the end of the day, my point is, what is the alternative that you are providing to these people? First and foremost, we have free SHS. So all these children must be in school. If there's an irresponsible parent who has put a child on the street, that parent must be arrested, because that is direct negligence.
I mean, what about those that come from other countries as well?
That is where one of the major challenges is, and it's got to do with our national security. And I'm telling you on authority that they come through the Togo borders, and some come from Axim. As our police officers see them every day, but what can they do? They're in a bus coming in. Immigration, did you check them at the border points to find out whether they have a legitimate pass into their country? They don't. And like I said, there are places that they are creating a new community. And with the influx of these people coming in and no record of them, if anybody does anything bad, what can you do? They are the people who are riding around town. They carry a certain carriage where they put all the waste materials in. So when they are riding on your road, regardless of whether the thing that they are picking up is something you have sanctioned them to pick up, they can take it anyways. And when they are arrested, they are like, oh, we thought it was. And they deliberately pretend they are not able to speak the English language. That is what they do. So for me, the role of immigration, national security, and the assemblies, we need to take this thing into a serious level of management of a state. Because I cannot go on the street and be fighting these people. Anything at all can happen. If we get into a brawl and somebody stabs me or hits my head with something, who are you going to identify as the person who did it? Because you do not have the requisite mechanism to determine whether or not this guy is Ghanaian or has a legitimate work permit. So these are the things that we ought to look at. You are driving in traffic, somebody comes by your window, and then they always try to hit your window with it, draw your attention, hit your windscreen with it. As sometimes I'm like, look, I know my needs. So once I'm in traffic, if I even see you or I spot what I need, I would go to it. Don't come and be disturbing me.
And like you said, the minute you react by, you can get a very hot response.
I tell you, never have mercy. And I say this thing on record. I'm on national radio. Never have mercy on such people.
When you say don't have mercy, what do you mean?
Artisans, beggars, hawkers, never have mercy on them. Never. For me, based on my belief and my background, the only person who has mercy on people is Jesus Christ. Don't try to be a Jesus Christ and have mercy on them.
You say God forgives, I don't.
Well, so that is it. That's why he's got all the mercy. Look, let one of these hawkers come to you wanting to sell you something, and you tell the person, oh, I'm not interested, I'm not buying, or it is too expensive later. The kind of words that will come out of their mouth at you, you'll be shocked at the vituperation. You'll be so shocked. They can just say, oh, nisika, or say, oh, to idea. You know that kind of thing. They can insult you, and I'm like, wow. Never have mercy on them. Never have mercy on them. Those are people who are evading taxes. They're evading taxes. They are not paying anything. All they're doing is legwork. And the point is that a market has been created for them, because when you get to the traffic light, that is the market point. People come in anyway. When they need it, they'll pick it up. Exactly. They don't have to advertise. They don't have to promote. They don't have to do anything. If the Minister of State is saying so, and I have my contrary opinion because I believe he's only reading statistics, let us get to the Fiesta Royale traffic light. Let anybody go there right now. Or if there's anybody at Fiesta Royale traffic light, they should tell us whether the hawking is still going on and the begging is still going on. It still would go on.
In fact, go to Atomic Roundabout.
Yes.
You see the young children. In fact, on Sunday, I was in the area and I was very alarmed. Two young boys, they couldn't have been more than 4 years old, playing so close to the road, begging, also carrying these shoe shine boxes. I was all it would have taken is one push, and you could have accidentally driven over one of these young personnel, one of these young kids. So it is very dangerous indeed. I wanted us to have another bite on that issue, even around the Jubilee House.
Oh yes, sometimes
around the Jubilee House, you see it.
Yes, sometimes you see.
You see it. So it's rampant. And these days, what can you not buy in traffic? You can buy a puppy. You can buy rice cooker. You can buy makeup, lip gloss,
anything and everything, from watches,
warmer, fufu machine. What can you not buy? Depending on the season, blender,
even fridge.
I'm telling you, you can buy anything and everything on our roads.
But it is not safe.
No,
it is not safe for us. And like I said, I should have added those we call, like the cobblers, those we call the shoe shine boys. Ghanaians are no longer doing it. It is now foreigners.
Even the charges, the mobile phone charges, all of those.
Yes, the ADAA people, it's not Ghanaians, it's the foreigners. Like you said, the mobile phone charges, it is them. The Fan Ice, the ice cream that they sell, Fan Milk products, it is them.
How is that possible?
Yes. So gradually, they are integrating themselves into the system. That is what I said. The national security is so loose on this matter, because your borders should not be as loose as it is. These people who are coming in today, we see them as they are selling, they are going around. What they are doing is that they are mapping out the communities. They are mapping it out. They are taking the points where people gather, where people live, where people stay, where people go to work and they don't come home early and all those things. They are taking all this information, security information. So if these are agents of any of the Al-Qaeda or any of those
any
threats,
kind of terrorist groupings,
then you should know the kind of information they have on Ghana, because they know where your industries are. They know who drives what car and enters at what point. You get it? So for me, this is a serious national security matter that I don't believe the Minister of State should come and be reading statistics to us.
In fact, I know you noted some of these numbers down.
Yeah, I noted the numbers. Yeah, I noted the numbers. He mentioned something in the region of 2,204 of what's the name? Illegal. And then beggars, 960 beggars. They were just numbers that were being thrown at us. Mine is clear them. Let me drive there and see that there is nobody there. Then I know for a fact that you've been able to achieve what you said you're doing. But if you come and read statistics to me, every civil society organization that is into child labor and all this irregular street talking and all that, they can just read all those things to me. So the role of the minister is to ensure that the task force of the assemblies are working, national security operatives are working, and then the police would also work, because they are the law enforcement agencies in our communities.
And not just as a one-time show. At the beginning of this administration, we saw the rounding up of some of these other nationals as well. I know they went to Atomic Junction. I believe they were in other parts of the capital rounding up these people. We turned around in a few days.
Back on the streets.
They were back on the streets. Well, clearly that exercise was not effective.
Business as usual.
Yes, business as usual. If you've had breakfast this morning, I apologize in advance. I recall there being some testing done on some of the food that we buy on the road. So I think it was plantain chips in particular. And it was found that over 50%, maybe something like even 70% of the plantain chips that you and I consume had, again, if you've had not had breakfast or eating, you can switch off really quickly and come back. Fecal matter.
Absolutely.
On it. You ask yourself, persons who come and hawk, some of these foodstuffs, they also have to relieve themselves at some point in their day. Are you averting your minds as to where they are doing it? Are they able to, wash their hands afterwards and so on and so forth? We don't have a very robust healthcare system. So also be very careful and mindful of what you are consuming, whom you are consuming it from. Even water, some of this packaged water, you don't even know the source of this water that we're drinking. It's a very important health concern. So this issue has so many tentacles, as Patrice has also highlighted. Security issues. Health implications, safety, and so on and so forth.
What I notice sometimes from these hawkers is when they are hawking or when they're giving the items to come and retail, they also buy separate poly bags. So when they get to a place, they go to a corner, and then they take some of the items and reduce the quantity, and they tie them back and sell. Like you said, these are people who are on the streets. Some sneeze, some blow their nose. They do so many things. All they do is that to clean their hands in their shirts or the cloth that they are. Look, there was a day I was traveling to Cape Coast, and I got to where they sell bread. I'm not going. I can mention the area. I think it was around after the Kaswa place. I stopped buying bread by the roadside, and even till date, I don't buy bread by the roadside. I'll go to the mall. One cloth that she was wearing, that is what she was using to clean all the bread that she had, all the loaves of bread that she had.
It's common.
Yes.
It's very common. They use the cloth to shine the bread. Very common. I've seen it happening right here at Osu.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh, wow. So this is quite dangerous. It's quite dangerous. And anybody who if you go to the clinic and they tell you, oh, you have typhoid, you've taken fecal matter.
That's right.
Anybody who suffers from typhoid, that means you've taken fecal matter. And all these things need to be taken into consideration. I saw a news article, I think yesterday, mentioning the chief of staff, that we should avert our minds to ideals of cleanliness and environmental friendliness and all this kind of. These are some of the things. When you drive through town and you don't see these hawkers and the beggars, look, your mind is so settled. So, Honorable Muntaka, please, we don't need statistics. We need reality on the grounds. Clear these people off. Let us not see a lot of strangers around us that do not speak our language, that we can't interact with them, we can't communicate with them. I'm not saying anybody coming in here should be able to speak my language, but the point is that there should be an essence, the purpose for which the person is here, so that I know that I can relate to you if it is work.
Right.
You get it. Not that a stranger walking around my neighborhood, I can't question the person. The person can't say anything to me. The person hasn't got a pass. It's not my responsibility to do so. You may say I have the civic responsibility, but where does it end? If I should go to the police person and tell the police person, I just saw this person wandering around my neighborhood, and I thought I could tell you, they would ask, so what do you want me to do?
Meanwhile, we've been tasked to see something and say something.
But it is not happening. But my point is that they see them all the time. You see these people all the time. So what do you do? What advice do you? I mean, I am not the one tasked to do this job. All I have to do is to announce it, publish it, say it, and mention it to you. But if it is your responsibility and you are sharing that responsibility, what role would you want me to play? I don't share in the revenue that you generate and what you get. So we don't put task on these people. What is the role of the police? How much money is the police supposed to bring at the end of the day? Such that if we are supposed to pay them any monies, we know that we are paying them based on the revenue they have generated. There's a lot of money in illegal activities, lawlessness. There's a lot of money in that. So if a parent is being irresponsible and throwing their kids onto the road, please go to School Junction. You would find them there. Go to Atomic. You would find them there.
In fact,
go to
go
Fiesta
on
Royal.
Facebook and look at some visuals of one such exercise that happened sometime last year. You see the immigration officers rounding up these people. They're back on the streets.
Oh yeah, they would. They would be back on the streets. And they can fake a lot of things as if they are suffering. There's nothing for them to do. Touch them 1 second and you will see the effusion. Touch them. 1 second.
Thank you for your messages that are rolling through on our WhatsApp line. This one comes from Evans in Kaneshi. Shout out to you, Evans. He says, the people that wipe our windscreens, he says, they're Ghanaians, but I'm actually scared to say this, drug addicts. That's another thing that has become a very big canker. The persons using drugs willy-nilly.
Look at them, These are the kids
on the streets. I mean, and it's heartbreaking. Young girls, young boys, very dangerous indeed. And those who also are subject to sexual assault, sexual abuse, rape, and the like. It's very, very, very worrying. Indeed. Well, that's one leg of the conversation.
But Helen,
yes,
has it crossed your mind to ask how they're able to have children?
How so? How do you mean?
My point is that these are young, they are kids, as we call them. They are children, they are infants. My point is that woman so-called that we see sitting over there, begging, that we believe she has nothing at all to do. Her life is hanging on a thread. How did she produce the child? They have the peace of mind to have sexual relationship with other men. If they are forced into that sexual relationship, then that means there is a cause for us to arrest these men because they are molesting these women. I hope you get it.
That's right.
Yes. So it's a two-pronged thing. It is either they connive with the men or the men are raping them. So we need to interrogate these things and deal with it. I don't want to be reading statistics. I want to see reality on the ground. All these children can be taken to homes. Can you imagine if these children were picked up from, let's say, Atomic or School Junction or Fiesta Royal and taken straight to, let's say, Cape Coast and put at a home where they are taken care of? Your parents will not see you anymore. Let's see whether these parents would like to bring their children back on the streets. If the parents are picked up, pick them up, take them to some farms, let them go and work. Because some of them say they don't deserve to work for the Ghanaian. All they do is that go to Accra Mall. We've even missed Accra Mall. At Accra Mall, the roundabout, they are there.
That's right.
The moment you get out of the gate, they are at you. You get it? So I think we shouldn't have all these things. So sometimes they do all these things, they vote money to say we are going to do ABC. After that, then they come back on the streets. Who is responsible? Who is accountable?
Somebody is in their office today. Maybe the air condition is on and they have been tasked to do this job.
Yeah.
And yet here we are. Let's move on to another leg of the discussion. And this is something that the Interior Minister also mentioned during yesterday's accountability series. We'll talk about election violence, and then we'll talk about what the OSB had to say about potential attacks on his person. Let's take a listen to the Minister.
Since the submission of the last report, further progress have been made in the investigation across all the cases investigated so far. A total of 26 suspects have been put before the court. One has since been discharged, while 25 are currently standing trial. Of these two additional suspects, James Kojo Ousu alias Kudus and Kwame Edutrim alias Hardman have since been arrested in connection with the lynching of the late Jacob Nlo. This brings the total number of suspects arrested in Offenso North constituency to 6, all of whom have been put before the court. In the Banda constituency case, suspect Gabriel Yao Eje alias Abodie has been arrested in connection with the murder of Silas and has been arraigned before Adabraka District Court. The police are also pursuing suspects who remain at large, particularly Alhaji Latif Abdul Latif Kopshe, who is wanted on a warrant, has been published in the Police Gazette. In addition, 13 other suspects identified as being connected to the cases are being pursued to assist with the investigation. The police will continue to pursue all outstanding suspects and support the prosecution of those already before the court. The public will be duly informed of further development as the investigations and prosecution progress. And the police is also open that members of the public, resulting in the death of one Shaibu Haruna and injuries to others. Suspects in the matter. The prime suspect in the matter are Alhaji Abdul Latif Kopshi and Wan Sankara. Efforts to apprehend the suspects who, since the incident, have relocated from the community are yet to be successful. It has been established, however, that despite this absence from the community, forms were picked for suspect Alhaji Abdul Latif Kopshi to contest as unopposed in the just recently MPP internal election at the constituency, and he was retained as youth organizer unopposed. Three suspected pistols and one CZ rifle were retrieved during the investigation. Upon examination at the Police Forensic Science Laboratory, one pistol was found to have fired 3 spent shells retrieved from the crime scene. Efforts are continuing to monitor and arrest the suspects.
Yesterday at the Government Accountability Series, we'll come back and talk about this, but this message here is from Adobia. And Adobia says, as for security agencies, I don't blame them. How do you expect something better from people who are recruited based on whom you know? Ghana has a big problem. Adobia, good morning to you. Thank you so much for that message. But this one has to do with election violence. And if you were listening there just now to the Interior Minister, he says the public will be duly informed of further developments as investigations and prosecution progress. And the police are also hoping that members of the public who have information on all these other 13 persons being pursued will be most welcome to provide that additional information. Patrice, yes. Do you have faith that we'll finally see some conclusion to these issues concerning election violence?
It will be difficult for me to say a yes or a no, but I just will speak based on the trends that I have experienced. Like I said, we've been divided so distinctly into supporting or wanting to support or seemingly seeing the state as being one side NDC, the other side NPP. So the moment something happens in the course of elections and it is attributed to one person, quickly that politician will wake up and say that, oh, because it is NDC, that is why you looked on unconcerned and you took on the NPP person. Converse, oh, because it is NPP, that is why you looked on unconcerned, and then these things ought not be happening. So the case in point that comes straight to mind is when one of such persons, with a lot of authority from wherever he got it, slapped a sitting member of parliament. The matter went to Shraj, and we were just dawdling around it. These are the things that I don't understand. Something is there physically for you to see. The person slapped the other. Even if you were provoked, did you have to do that as a state security? Even if you were provoked, did you have to do that as somebody who works at the state authority? What kind of orientation do you have? What kind of training did you have? The reason people say and conclude that these guys are not security operatives, because they do not operate as such. If somebody provokes you, what do? You step back, get back, call your superior, let them deal with the person, but you slap the person.
In fact, we don't see these sort of de-escalation tactics ever being deployed. No. Everything goes from 0 to 100 almost immediately.
Straight.
And training will tell you that not every circumstance calls for that extreme level of action.
No, it does not. So for me, as to whether we're going to see the end to these things, it will be quite difficult, because for the political parties, what happens is that everybody tries to show their power when they get into office. So I'll show you where power lies. So if a group of people being attributed to me or associated to me or aligned to me are alleged to have done something, we just say, we'll look into it, and all that is, then it's lights off. People have been maimed. People have had their limbs cut off. People have had bullets lodged in their thighs or their legs. People cannot do anything now. For some people have lost their eyes, their sight. And we just sit aloof and then think that business as usual, let it go on. It hurts when people put themselves up for these so-called politicians, who at the end of the day, when you get into such a fix, they are not there to come
because their relatives are at home relaxing, not putting themselves in harm's way. But you, as a young man, you have been riled up, given this kind of false bravado. And once you meet, any kind of catastrophe, you are really on your own. I mean, at the time of the 2024 elections, we were hearing Blue Army, Green Army, and that's how, the fan base gets fired up. Like you're fighting for a cause. But at the end of the day, you are having to live without your limbs, without your hands, without your legs. Ultimately, who pays the price? But you see, the point is that they also believe that this is the other side of the coin. They also believe that the state institutions or security institutions do not protect them well enough, so they have to have their own private security, take it into their own hands and do things that. But for me, it is so far-fetched from what reality is supposed to be and the tenets of somebody operating within the security apparatus. If person A is doing something wrong, why can't you prove the person wrong? Why can't you bring the person to book? But because when a policeman or a security officer goes to challenge a person related to the incumbent whose party is in power, the next minute they'll transfer you from your comfort zone or from where you are operating to another area where perhaps you would not be comfortable.
So some of these security men and women are quite careful when it comes to dealing with such situations. So it's a tall order, but it's a short list.
Certainly.
It's a very short list. All we need to do is that ensure that our security operatives are apolitical. They are apolitical.
Is that actually possible? Well, let's get onto our phone lines and speak with fraud and security analyst Richard Kumador. Hello, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Hope you're doing well this morning.
Yes, please. Thank you.
We've been having some discussion on what transpired at the Government Accountability Series yesterday, where the Interior Minister let Ghanaians know about some developments across different issues. I'd like you to weigh in, first of all, on the issue of illegal migrants in the capital and beyond, those that are seen begging and those that are seen selling and so on and so forth. From a security perspective, have we really looked at what the implications could be, or would you say anybody that has that concern is reading too much into it? What really could be the potential of harm on ordinary Ghanaians if this issue is not tackled appropriately?
So there are three things involved. One, it poses a lot of risk to road users and pedestrians. Number two, becomes to it creates some level of discomfort and some level of apprehension when they ask for money and people don't give them. So pedestrians could be affected, bystanders could be affected, road users, and many of those in that regard. Then number two, it also poses some level of public safety challenges for the state itself. And number three, it becomes a conduit scheme where human traffickers and migration criminal specialists may indulge in this particular act that has the highest potential of creating some level of vulnerabilities for the state at the highest level of security management. So these are the areas you look at it when it comes to dealing with streetism. Streetism is a major concern for many countries across the globe. And I think that even though we may have challenges with operations, how to get them out of the street, you would need a strategic national policy when it comes to streetism and the way forward. And that will guide many of the security agencies and the departments and units in the front line, making sure that some of these people we see, which are proven to be problematic and nuisance in our streets, are taken care of appropriately, in line with law and appropriate principles of human rights.
And so that is your perspective on that. What is that decisive action really that we need to be seeing? I mean, beyond the statistics and beyond the reading of these numbers, I mean, practically, at the start of last year or towards the first quarter, we saw a rounding up of these individuals. I mean, we went to bed, woke up the next day, and they were back at post.
So for practicality, once formalize the policy, streamline it, it will guide the law enforcement officers. When I had the opportunity of working with the police, anti-human trafficking, we did a lot when it comes to human trafficking and streetism. I've just completed a nationwide risk assessment. Streetism was one of the core elements we look out for. So practical solutions. Give them the national policy on the way forward and the guidelines when it comes to streetism and how to deal with it. It will empower the frontline agencies. Number two, there has to be collaboration among the agencies because many of them do things on an isolated basis. And once you create isolation, you are creating problems from the central command. Then number three, the state itself has signed some regional and international protocols and policies. We are a sovereign nation. We will need to look at it again, how to realign that strategy to determine what is allowed, what is not allowed, and what is permissible and what it is not. Then, when you get to the field, the state provides support for many of these people because there are human rights issues and there are civil liberties that you have to take care of. If the state can come into the fore so strongly and powerfully and tell the frontline agencies that when it comes to the international arena, in terms of geopolitics and international relations. We have signed on onto this, we have signed on onto that, but looking at it in terms of achieving national security guarantees and national sovereignty priority areas, this is what we want to do, this is what we want to do, we'll be fine. And we'll seriously be fine, and this wouldn't be a problem at all. And that is why I begin by saying practically it's a policy issue with less of operational challenges.
Thank you for that, Mr. Komodo. And the next issue that we wanted to pick your thoughts on has to do with election violence, but also sort of connected with that is this idea of security groupings, vigilante groupings. And we know that vigilante groups, particularly political vigilante groups, are not legal in Ghana. We've got specific laws on this. The Vigilantism and Related Offences Act 2019, which was passed specifically to disband vigilante groups and prohibit vigilantism. But we still appear to have these groupings in the system. From where you sit, is this something that is very rife? Are we seeing the back of it? And how does that relate to election violence? We see it during by-elections, we see it during main elections, even when we have elections within the parties themselves. It appears we're not able to get rid of this canker. What are your thoughts?
No, I think we don't want to get rid of it in the first place. We're just lying to ourselves and lying to everybody. We didn't want to enforce it. I had a passionate conversation in the studio before you put me on, and I agree entirely with what has been said. You had conversation with me on these things, and one of the things I keep on saying is that non-punishable of offenses will always rationalize bad behavior and promote antisocial tendencies in society. So if you go and shoot Kwame and his family, and the family do not have closure to what has happened, and the state is not prosecuting those who committed the violence, and investigations are not delivering immediate results, it means that having a closure to the issue will not be today. And those who have been affected, who are looking up to the state to act and the state is slowing down, they also take the law into their own hands and make sure they find justice in the street. And that is where we are. So this whole thing about vigilantism, yeah, we can attest to the fact that they are not as so active as they used to be, but we have to deal with it. That is why we have a law. Then, secondly, look at our elections in this country. It's a known knowledge and it's a known fact. The aspects of our elections are violent. Why? Because you have electoral commission and you have election officers who flout their own laws and flout the standardizations they set for everybody, and nobody does anything, because we know that as black people and as Africans will never seek for accountability and nobody will be held responsible. So that is where we are. If we want to stop it, this is not rocket science. We've traveled across the group. We saw how it is done in some countries. We know that democracy, which we have ascribed to, election or electing our officers from region to local to national, is part of what we do. And we have to take steps in making sure that the process is fair, is transparent, devoid of criminality, but we are afraid of that aspect. Why we are afraid to do it rightly, that one we need to ask the gods. But with my over 30 years experience in this area, I can tell you strongly that they don't want to enforce it. And if they want to enforce it, just by tomorrow morning, nobody will be talking about vigilantism and issues that has happened where people needed to be prosecuted and why are they not being prosecuted.
Certainly. Now, before I let you go, I want us to take a listen to a 1-minute clip from the Interior Minister on something that the Special Prosecutor or personnel from the OSP made us aware of, some attempts on the Special Prosecutor's life. We'll talk about that and then we can wrap up on this conversation. So please take a listen for me.
The OSP and the assault and the investigation. Yes, I wrote to the CID. In fact, last week I was trying to, IGP is trying to pass something to me. Last week I had to ask the IGP where we are with it, and they promised that they are coming up with a report. So I'm sure once they bring the report, we'll let it be public, because I wrote officially demanding that they investigate and report. So last week I asked the IGP. He promised that they are working at it. So I will pursue that to ensure that they report on that.
This issue of the special prosecutor and attempted attacks on his life, is that an issue that we let slip by too easily, or do you think sufficient prominence was given to it?
No, when it comes to risk profiling of our frontliners, you remember just, I think, a few days ago, the Deputy Attorney General also spoke about a threat on his life and some witnesses in the prosecution, some witnesses in a particular crime case they have prosecuted at the court. Many of our frontliners have come under threat. Journalists have come under threat. Even some of us who speak on national issues have been threatened. Our families have been backstabbed and many of these things. The risk profiling, the end of that goes to the state. And I think it is the responsibility of the state to provide adequate security for frontliners and for media personnel and for everybody who might have come under one level of threat or the other. But then again, the personalities involved also have a role to play. We've always been saying that your personal security is your personal responsibility. And then as much as the state will come to your aid, and the state must come to your aid, and you must raise alarm as quickly as possible, and make sure you work with the state agencies when it comes to provision of security. You also have a duty to ensure that you take your personal security seriously. And that is the best way to go.
Certainly. Mr. Commodore, my colleague Patrice Amagashi is in studio. He's got a question, and then we'll bid you farewell.
All right, okay, Richard, thanks so very much, and we appreciate the work that you're doing. Mine has to do with just a simple one. Have you been able to draft any paper, document, or proposal that would speak practically to how these things ought to be done? Have you drafted anything like that we can lay hands on?
Specifically, mention one.
No, we're talking about the security of the state, and we're talking about the hawking and all those things, illegal things.
Okay, so if it is about streetism, because national security has various aspects, and security departments and agencies play various roles. So what basically the BNI will do is different from what Yoko officers will be doing and what immigration will do. So when you take a border town and you enter into that jurisdiction, you have a different types of units over there. And even though collaboratively they work together, there are divergences in what they do and what their reporting lines are. Number two, when it comes to streetism, these are issues that goes to the National Security Council, where all the national security institutions meet to take a decision. And I can say confidently that many of these issues would have been raised or have been raised, and there are documents here and there put together for discussions. What we need to be asking is, when we talk about a national law on streetism, when is it going to come out as a national security strategy? But that notwithstanding, all the agencies within the environment have structured laws and statutory laws they work with in relation to what they do in that regard. But to the extent that it is becoming a red flag and the vulnerabilities are getting higher, as a nation, you will need a standardized documentation that will guide all the operational functions and the frontliners. But for me, what I do and the teams I lead, many of these things have been documented and they have been sent to the appropriate quarters.
Sincerely, I didn't get the answer that I was expecting, but I'll let it slide. Sincerely, I didn't get the answer that I was expecting.
No, you can ask me again. And
no, I am asking, do you have a paper that if you were to meet the minister right now, you present to him that do A, B, C, D, E? Do you have a paper? Do you have a proposal?
You know when I'm speaking out, they are listening. And many of the things I'm telling you are things from our papers. And because of the way national security intelligence works, you use proverbs, you use wisdom, and you use practicality. And I can tell you from what I have done over the years, many of the things I do, I've just told Ellen, I've just finished the National Risk Assessment nationwide. Each year I do it twice, and the reports are given out to the appropriate centers for onward decisions. But the final decisions go way beyond my head.
Certainly, Richard. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
You're welcome.
And do have a wonderful Tuesday. Richard Commodore is the fraud and security analyst. And those were some issues we were able to tease out from yesterday's accountability series and from what the Honorable Interior Minister had to say.
Been back.
I'm in my 4th week now of being back. Yes.
Oh, I see.
Feels good to be back.
I've been asking of you.
Oh, really? They never relayed the message.
You are Jakpa. You are Jakpa.
Then the two of you are no good friends.
Not at all.
You are no good friends.
Not at all. And I put the blame squarely on council's desk.
That's an allegation that we'll let Afenyo marking.
Yes, I was very busy indeed, but I'm back now. I came with extra baggage, extra luggage, and extra baggage. Thank you so much.
That's a blessing.
Thank you so much. And it's good to see you. Hope you've been keeping well.
Very well, very well, very well.
Are you enjoying legal? Is legal vacation still on?
Yeah, we are still on.
Are you busy?
That's why he's dressed down like this.
Until 30th of September.
But have you been busy in that time?
No, we do go to court, this lower court.
Okay.
So circuit court, district court. We do. Even yesterday I was in court.
Oh, I see.
Yes,
okay.
I was in court, so.
So when are you going to get a chance to kick your feet up and, go to the Bahamas?
In fact, I was contemplating on...
Who's funding that trip?
I think it's a good question.
Oh, no. Austin is booked.
A good question.
He's a very busy... Council is busy.
I was driving home. That conversation, you hear the news. Right on the head.
If you are funding it, no problem at all. I can tag along.
The farmers will require more money.
Yeah.
Not the kind of the one we do at the lower court, the district court, and those ones they are not huge monies.
Oh, all right. If you say so. But it's good to see you, and we want to talk a little bit about this gold saga, as we call it. Let's play a soundbite from the Gold Board CEO Sammy Gyamfi, and we'll put some matters into proper context and get some perspectives from council this morning. Take a listen.
Went now. And why have you not heard Afenyo say anything about that, or challenge me, or threaten to sue? So the MPP people talking, there are things you don't know. I will not just, I'm a consummate Democrat. I eat and drink debates.
I'm not worried. Call the minority leader an extortionist.
I'm not worried if you criticize him to... Yes. And that is why he cannot comment on that or even challenge me. He cannot. Because he knows that what I said is true. So there are many things that you may not have the benefit of. But let me talk about my good brother.
Fioma King is a self-made man.
No problem.
He's got the chain of businesses.
Maybe tell him that...
Why does he need to come and extort money from Gold Board?
Tell him that you want to be his lawyer so that he sues Sammy Gyamfi to substantiate that claim. Tell him. Or tell him that you give him an interview here and Sammy Gyamfi will come and that you should dare Sammy Gyamfi. That is not an insult. I'm speaking about what has happened, and he knows.
We're going to court on the other issue regarding...
I have made certain
I've seen your statement.
I'm saying I've made certain statements. I would rely on them without more. Don't rush. You see, in the Bible, Jesus was accused, wild allegations. He kept quiet and watched them. He could have done anything, but you see, when you are dealing with situations, the people of Ghana expect a certain level of maturity from me. The people of Ghana see that this is an accomplished businessman. He's been in the space for some time. He's leading a group. The tradition of the party MPP that I lead expects a certain level of conduct. So if I would be carried away with emotions, I will fail. It's not an emotional game. It's not a game that somebody attacks you, you should also react. No, you won't get it. There's always a bait in politics. But
you see this as a bait?
I'm saying that there is always a bait.
No, I'm asking you specific questions regarding this.
I'm saying that there's always a bait in politics. And don't underestimate. Opponents also have a strategy. I was a majority leader. I know how government operates. I know how government can divert attention. So I've been there. Because the government must hold itself together. So it can be throw this in. Today, social media, let's divert attention. Let's stain the man. But look, Carlos.
Is that what is happening?
Carlos, in opposition, like I said, was Atu not in court? Was it not worse than my situation? You get what I mean? So, as for this game, I want to assure the party that the mandate they gave me, God willing, that mandate will be discharged. We would work hard. The people of Ghana expect us to do nothing less. They expect us as minority to be forthright, to work hard, to hold the feet of government to the fire. We will do that. All other things that will come, we'll deal with it. So don't worry. Tomorrow we are resuming. We pray that the motion will be admitted. We argue, set up the ad hoc committee so that within the period of break, at least there will be hearing.
Okay.
So that by October, before we read the 2027 budget is read, I hope by that time the report will be ready. And
in the face of the allegations of extortion leveled against me, I have chosen to take high moral ground by submitting myself to the processes of the law. I have accordingly caused writs to be filed in suit number GT 1029/2026, entitled Osayin Alexander Afenyo versus Samuel Edu James and Multimedia Group Limited at the Accra High Court, and suit number GR/AC/ACH/C5/02/2026, entitled Osayin Alexander Afenyo versus Eric Ej and Peace FM at the Chimota Circuit Court. I have every confidence that in the fullness of time, the court will make the appropriate determination on these matters. Mr. Speaker, I also await with bated breath that the man or the men who made the allegation will have the courage to report the matter to the police or the OSP or any investigating agency in this country. And I expect that if they muster the courage to report that I have extorted from them and I am invited, I shall submit myself to every investigation so that eventually my name is cleared.
Legal perspectives. Austin, legally speaking, what does the Honorable Minority Leader Afenyo have to establish to successfully prove defamation against Gold Board CEO Sammy Gyamfi?
So let me say one warning to your viewers and listeners, those who are viewing from social media, and to say that this is a rather serious allegation, and one that imputes criminality. But the minority leader has chosen to go the civil way, which is to sue for defamation. And to sue for defamation, you must be able to prove the constituent elements. And the elements are that you must be able to prove that the statements so made were defamatory. So the statement made were defamatory. So you must prove that they were defamatory. In other words, they are statements that are untrue, but they've brought your reputation down, or they've debased you. The statements have debased your reputation in the eyes of society or right-thinking individuals in the society. And you must be able to prove that those defamatory words were said by the defendants. So first of all, you must be able to prove that the words were defamatory. And those defamatory words, secondly, were said by the defendants. And again, you must be able to prove that there was publication to a third party. Publication to a third party. In other words, if I said something against you, which you consider to be defamatory, and there was no one in the room, it doesn't amount to defamation. But when there's a third party in the room, and I still went ahead to make those defamatory words, then there's been what? Publication. And publication could be that you sat on a TV station or a radio program and you said those defamatory words. And the person doesn't need to prove that there was a third party in the studio. So long as it was in the studio, you said it in the studio during a program, it means that people have heard it. Mm-hmm. That amounts to publication.
Right.
And even in public commentary, sometimes you go on social media, people comment on those defamatory words, it amounts to publication.
Right.
And the thing is that now with technology, defamation can happen at every point in time. So it can happen in Ghana. The same issue can be defamatory in Ghana. It can also be defamatory in Nigeria. If that issue is also picked up by somebody else and published over there,
Right.
It could also be it could also amount to publication over there, and also that those defamatory words injured your reputation. So these constituent elements, you must be able to prove them. One, the words were defamatory. Two, the defamatory words were said by none other party than the defendant.
Okay.
And that there was publication.
Mm-hmm.
So you must be able to prove these constituent elements. If you're able to prove them, you'll be successful. The position of the court is that you cannot prove two and leave the other element. You must prove all the constituent elements. If you leave one out, you won't be successful.
Right. Now, we listened, the first soundbite you heard was from Goldboard CEO Sammy Gyamfi, effectively indicating or alleging that Afenyo Marking was seeking to extort him. At what point does a statement like that become a defamatory allegation of fact rather than protected political opinion or commentary?
I think before I answer that question, we must situate the conversation.
Right.
Did the Goldboard CEO, Sammy Gyamfi, say that Afenyo Marking extorted from him?
Okay.
He never said that. He called him an extortionist.
There's a distinction.
We must be able to delineate the boundary. Extorting from me and one be an extortionist could be that the one who is an extortionist may have either extorted from me or extorted from somebody.
Or both.
Or both. So we must be careful. Sammy Gyamfi never said, for once, throughout his press conferences and his media appearances, that Alexander Afenyo Marking extorted from him.
Okay.
So let's be able to situate the conversation so that those who are going to the marketplace with this conversation will know how to communicate and know how to say the things. But let me point out that the fact that you are being accused of having double in defamation, and you claim that you were not the victim or you were not the person who paid the money to the said individual, or let's say as Afenyo Marking, or to whom the demand was made on you, does not absolve you of any liability.
Okay.
In other words, if you were never extorted, or no one extorted money from you, but you only communicated an incident which happened to somebody, does not in itself absolve you from any liability. To say that, oh, I was not the one, so I only said the mind of somebody. That alone does not absolve you from, but you have said something, so you must still substantiate, bring evidence. So the thing is that defamation happens in two ways: slander and libel. So you slander the words, and so the one we communicate verbally and the one we communicate by writing. So people write articles, publish them, and they defame people. So these are the two instances, so slander and libel. But the thing is that when an individual feels that his or her reputation had been soiled by reason of a statement you made, the person has a legitimate claim to bring a case of defamation against you, provided there is no substance to the claim you made. But we must also understand that if you believe that the statement you so made is right, or you are justified in making a statement, you have a defense in court. So you need not prove that every statement you made is true, but you must prove that you are justified in making a particular comment. That alone is a defense in law. Justification. The defense of justification is a defense in law.
I see.
That you are justified in making that comment. Why are you justified? Then you must, and we have qualified privilege. So if you believe that by reason of a position you occupy, you have come into contact with a particular information by reason of which you can communicate to the media or the public, and you feel it was time to make that disclosure, you are justified or you have a qualified privilege.
Now, we know that Afenyo Marking has also sued media organizations that published or broadcast the statements. What potential liability does a media house have when it reports on allegations made by politicians or public officials?
A very important question. We must understand that every statement made on a platform amounts to publication. Remember I said, if I sit here and make a comment, which a comment someone considers to be defamatory, you have given the opportunity to publish it to third parties. In this case, it won't be just one individual. So we are not talking about those in the studio. We're talking about beyond, those who are currently listening to the conversation. So the media houses have a responsibility to ensure that when statements are made, we say statement, they cannot authenticate. They dissociate themselves from the statement. So if a comment is made and you feel that you readily don't have information to authenticate or validate that statement, you must issue a disclaimer or tell the person to retract. It means that you have taken steps to prevent publication. Because in any case, you cannot stop anybody from saying whatever they want to say. But whatever they say, you must account for them. So the media houses have a responsibility, which is why he has decided to sue the media houses, because their platforms became the means of publicizing those defamatory words, or those words he considered to be defamatory. Because at the moment, there are mere allegations that he has brought before the court, and he has to prove his case. And we must also understand that in this case, he has gone to court. It won't be the responsibility of Sami Jemfi and Eric Ejay, who has also been sued in the second case,
right,
to defend themselves or to prove the case. It will be the responsibility of Afenyo Marking to prove that those statements are defamatory or to prove the constituent element of defamation. It is only when he succeeds in proving those elements, that is when the court will say, okay, then the defendant also come and answer to the allegations. That is where if they have any other evidence to save themselves, they will also publish them.
So for those of us who sit on this side where I'm sitting now as media personnel, is it sufficient for us to say things like I disassociate myself, I distance myself, the media house distances itself from commentary made by XYZ? Will that suffice? Does that provide adequate insulation from court action?
It does not exculpate the media houses, but it does prove to the court that you took steps,
right,
to prevent the so-called defamatory comments. Because there have been times where individuals, by political sensationalism, made certain comments on platforms that ordinarily you expected media journalists to have questioned them or even dissociated maybe their media houses from those commentaries. But they kept quiet and they only laugh off those comments. In that instance, when a court is seized with such matter, the court will say, but you had an opportunity with such strong words, you had an opportunity to have dissociated your media houses from such commentary, so that a fair-minded individual, we always say a reasonable person on the street will say that, oh, this journalist took steps.
Right.
Even though it may not be sufficient, but this journalist took steps to dissociate the media from the comment. Or this journalist asked the commentator or the individual whether or not he or she has any evidence. If not, he or she should withdraw or retract. When a court sees such evidence, the court will say, no, you took steps. So that will even help when the court is thinking about whether or not to impose any fines on the media house. The court will say, no, you took steps. So that alone, the court will say, no, let's exculpate or let's allow the media house, because they did due diligence. They didn't allow the individual to go away or to run away with his commentary. So, I mean, there's a responsibility when it comes to such matters. But it's because many of such statements have gone without lawsuits. That's why sometimes the media, the journalists feel that there's no responsibility on them.
That is true.
So they feel, oh, I have no responsibility. If after all, it is the person who alleged or the person who made those defamatory comments on my show who will be held responsible. But that's not the case. You, the one providing the platform. And you see, funny that sometimes the journalists themselves will be asking, are you sure? Do you have evidence? then they will say, oh, tell me more. So they are rather inviting the person to say more. And that is dangerous and consequential. Yeah. So there's a responsibility on journalists to ensure that comments made on your platform, particularly you being the host, comments made on your platform are legally accounted for.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. That's very important to note. A word to the wise. Now, Austin, does Afenyo Marking's position as a prominent political figure and minority leader affect the standard or threshold that he must meet in this defamation case?
In fact, the standard is clear. You remember recently there was a defamation case between this Kennedy Japan and Anas Aremia. You remember? That case traveled straight away to the Supreme Court. Mm-hmm. It's been back and forth. You remember, he won at the High Court, lost at the Court of Appeal, then went to the Supreme Court. So it's the threshold is the same.
Okay.
Whether you're a big man, you're a small man, you must meet it. If you don't meet it, then the thing is that people were saying, in that case, people were saying, after Anas did this good, so the judges should have lowered the threshold. It doesn't work that way. Like I said, the name of the game is evidence. If you don't have it, forget it. And I've been telling people, sometimes you may have a very solid case on paper, but in court, if you cannot adduce the relevant evidence to back your case, you will lose. And you say, oh, the courts were not fair to me, the judge was not fair. It had nothing to do with the judge. It had to do with the evidence you adduced in court, which were insufficient to grant a successful either conviction or successful case. So that is the thing. The threshold must meet. Afenyo Marking must prove the constituent element of defamation. If he fails in any of the elements, he won't succeed. And that will be consequential. Because if the court throws out that, dismisses the cases, it doesn't mean the case had been proven or had not been proven. It means that he didn't succeed. Then the tag extortionist will still be hanging on his neck. So he has a duty, a real duty. So I've said that don't allow petty partisan drift or sensationalism to drive you to go to court. If you know what Asimasi is saying is true, find a way to handle it. But when you go to court, thinking that because it will delay, because sometimes court processes drags on 2, 3, 4 years.
That's right.
So that alone will afford me time to later terminate at a point so that Ghanaians will not notice. He won't succeed. This is a major allegation. So he must be ready to prove all the elements.
But one might say, Austin, that we see a lot of this political fracas, unfold. Do you not share in the opinion of some Ghanaians that this will be one of such that sort of falls by the wayside? We forget about it because we'll have another big headline taking our attention. Or do you think that this particular issue, if not resolved adequately, could not bode well, especially for the minority leader in parliament?
In fact, this issue may have surfaced today. Tomorrow, it will be buried by another issue. That is right. Until the court makes a decision, it won't resurface. This will be shelved on the media houses' bookshelves until the court makes a determination as to whether or not he succeeds or not. The case will also revive itself. So let's not bother us. But my suggestion is simple. This is a serious allegation. One that has been seriously defended by the claimants or the defendant, the individuals who made those comments. They've defended and they've even challenged him to go to court, which he has rightly so done. I would expect the minority leader to step down.
To step down in his position as minority leader.
Exactly. You know why? We are looking at a situation where Ghanaians will be looking at the minority anytime they address an issue of national importance. Then the conversation will be about this, but they are extortionists. They are being left.
You think that tag will dilute whatever serious business they have?
No, exactly. I don't want us to take this tag as something ordinary. Or we shouldn't compare it to those comments made by individuals on political platforms. This is an individual, and I've always been saying that a man's greatest treasure is his reputation.
Indeed.
So, if you are being called an extortionist, and you don't, someone will say, clean yourself properly. So, it's like washing, just walking to the bathhouse and washing yourself with water. You must dab yourself with a towel.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't properly clean yourself, people will always see and say, oh, these are extortionists. This. And don't forget, politics. Politics can tarnish you today and you won't rise again. There have been let me tell you the number of individuals, judges, who have gone down because of the revelation by Anas.
And never able to recover.
Never. They were stripped of their judicial roles. And they are now, some even are even sitting in front of their shops. Some have shops. They have this provision shop. They are sitting there, judges who were judges. So reputation is like money, it's currency.
Mm-hmm.
Your reputation alone can open doors for you.
That's right.
People will not even need to see or hear what you say, but they know that this person is a man of great means, is somebody who is a man of substance. Whatever he says holds weight. So there are a lot of people there. So
but would we say that, for example, at the time that the entire parliament or a group of people were accused of being bribed by a certain businessman, it couldn't have tarnished the image collectively of parliament, or because this one is an individual?
So that allegation tarnished the image of parliament.
Yeah.
Because today, as we speak, parliament has been bastardized.
Yeah.
The executive has been bastardized. It's only the judiciary that we are trying to hold aloof a little. Any allegation of bribery targeting parliament affects the image of parliament.
Right.
So Ghanaians do not hold parliament in high esteem as we used to. Just go off your street or go onto the street and ask 2 or 3 individuals what their opinion is
about
or
parliament.
their opinions are about parliament. You will know. We don't regard parliament anymore. But an individual, an attack or a claim targeting an individual is consequential.
Yeah.
It affects him. In fact, if you monitored his media appearance, the last appearance he had on your sister station.
Yes.
Look at his demeanor.
Yeah.
You will know that the allegation is weighing now on him.
Yeah.
You look at his facial appearances. Look at his mannerism. You know that this guy is.
Now you're talking as a social scientist.
Exactly.
You're not talking as a lawyer because.
No, exactly. No, but you see, and we consider that.
Yes.
In court.
Yeah.
Yes, your mannerism, the way you respond, the way judges look at that and say, this person is guilty.
Potentially guilty. Yeah.
All time check, it is some 8 minutes to the top of the hour, 10 a.m. Just in about 2 minutes, we'll wrap up with Austin Bracco Powers. And Austin, I've got a final question for you as we look to the future. What should the public be watching for as this case progresses, and what would constitute a significant legal victory for either Afenyo Marking or Sammy Gyamfi?
So 2 key things. First off, I've said that if this issue backfires, that will be the end of Afenyo Marking. Yes, politically, because now he has decided to challenge the allegation. If he doesn't succeed, Ghanaians will be settled in their minds that it is true. This is what you have been doing. If he succeeds, it means that the allegation leveled against him was not true. And that will affect Sammy Gyamfi, and he's demanding 50 million cedis.
That's right.
That is something he must be able to. I think for now he should be considering how he will marshal his evidence to prove his case. Without more. The second thing is that Ghanaians must be careful of the commentaries they make on social media. Particularly those who are supporters of the 2 leading political parties.
Right.
Sometimes we feel we can make any comment and nobody would sue us. But you will notice that recently there's been a spike in defamation cases.
Oh yeah. Kennedy Japan leading the
exactly
the pack.
Exactly.
It was Kennedy Japan, and despite multimedia, Kennedy Japan and Kwamna Dufour, Kennedy Japan, and was it Anas Arimia in Ghana and in the US.
That's right.
And he was lucky, even with the Dufour case, it had to be settled out of court.
And even among us civilians, I see that people are taking it very seriously. Like Austin said, your reputation is everything.
Yeah.
It's also the bloggers. They feel they can smear you with any claim and they will go scot-free. Now they are being sued left, right, center. So they must be careful. Sometimes the thing is that they feel that, we can make any commentary. After all, this is political commentaries. And because you made it on political platform, we can also make
even there was one with Kweku Bako. Kennedy Japan again.
Exactly.
Yeah, he got 950,000 Ghana cedis. That's how much he had to pay.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. Yes. Oh, Kennedy has been sued on 10 million.
Remember even Esedin Ketia also sued somebody where he said he will use the money to go and build, construct a structure and put a certain name on it. So it's becoming the new sheriff in town.
Right.
Because people are beginning to take their reputation seriously. So we must be careful. Let's be careful of what we write. Verify. If you don't have evidence or if you cannot authenticate the source, stop it.
Certainly. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Very good to see you. Austin Bracco Powers, legal private practitioner. He's not on his way to the Bahamas, but he's always welcome here at Adisawe Kanda.